Greetings and welcome to Newsroom TV. I am Makanaka Masenya. My story is making the headlines. Regional and international bodies give up on Zimbabwe. In the courts, Roman Catholic nun killer rapist cleared of wrongdoing. In business, Bindura Nickel finalizing takeover bids. In sports, Marshall Monet outshines Neymar as Reims stun PSG. News in detail. The world has given up on saving Zimbabwe, a top advisor to President Emmerson Mnangagwa said this week. Businessman and member of Mnangagwa's Presidential Advisory Council, Shingi Munyeza, told the Second National People's Convention that the SADC region and the international community is fed up with Zimbabwe's crisis.
The region and the world has given up on us. Let me just say this. You can cover it, you can position it, you can do some PR on it. The region, including those we call our friends, have thrown in the towel. The international community has thrown in the towel.
His statements came a day before images of Mnangagwa addressing an almost empty auditorium at the ongoing United Nations General Assembly went viral on social media. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, MDC presidential spokesperson Kuleko Sibanda said Zimbabweans in the diaspora felt the country's image is worsening under the current regime.
Look, there is no doubt that there's a lot of despair. People think that we are not going in any particularly positive direction. There is a perverse realization that this country is getting to a point of no return, and an understanding that even the attempts to re-engage with the international community are failing and have failed and are probably never going to be to recover. So it's a sense of despair, but people want to act, and I think that eventually we will see a lot of action.
The country is in dire need of foreign direct investment, with Mnangagwa's austerity measures seemingly worsening the situation. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa appealed for patience Wednesday for his efforts to pull his country out of an economic collapse and called on the US and Europe to lift illegal sanctions that he blamed for slowing down the recovery.
The sanctions are slowing down our progress, inhibiting our economic recovery, and punishing the poorest and the most vulnerable in our society.
Mnangagwa made no mention during an address to the UN General Assembly of alleged political repression under his rule, which has diminished hopes that Zimbabwe has been on the brink of change following the ouster of long-term leader Robert Mugabe, who died in Singapore earlier this month. Parliament's Public Accounts Portfolio Committee Chairperson and former Finance Minister Tendai Biti has said the legislature will recommend the prosecution of Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe top officials over non-compliance issues. Biti said this during a hearing on Thursday, where he said that the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe was issuing treasury bills without approval of Parliament. This is in connection to some of the transactions involving $106 million worth of treasury bills to Sakunda Holdings, which were issued twice within a period of 4 days, but later omitted in accounting books, as exposed by the Auditor General's report.
We're going to make a determination whether we felt we were telling the truth or we were trying to cover up. Was it deliberate or it was accidental? We're going to make that finding. We've been doing that for everyone who has been coming. With the chairman, for instance, we said it was live, and I understand he got him fired.
However, in response, Deputy Governor Kupukile Mlambo, standing in for Governor John Mangudya, however, claimed some of the documentation is locked up in the governor's office. Mangudya is currently with President Mnangagwa at the United Nations. Mulambo added that they work in a political economic environment which constrains them.
We operate in a particular political economic environment. And the political economic environment always constrains you. You cannot willy-nilly ignore the environment that you're operating in. So
RBZ has spent more than $2.1 billion, which was not approved by Parliament and not part of the national budget in 2017 to 2018 budget. in the courts. A Mutoko man who murdered a Roman Catholic nun before raping her dead body walked out of court a free man on Wednesday after High Court Judge Justice Eric Ndewere ruled he was mentally ill when he committed the crime. Ndewere ruled that although Enoch Potani is now well, he cannot be punished for an offense he committed when he was mentally sick. The murderer will, however, stay at Chukurubi Maximum Prison for further treatment before he will be released to his family. During trial, Potani told the court that he does not remember anything that happened on the day in question. This was despite that he made indications of how he committed offense when he was arrested last year. Potani killed the Reverend Sister Plaxides Kamundia, who was an official at St. George's High School in Mutoko. In business, Africa's only integrated nickel mining company, Bindura Nickel Corporation, is in the final stages of evaluating takeover bids process, which is set for finalization in the next 2 weeks. Reports claim President Emmerson Mnangagwa's close ally and businessman Kudakwasha Tagwirei will front the new owners of the mining giant. Speaking to shareholders Thursday, Bindura Nickel Corporation Chairman Muchadei Masunda said the process is going on smoothly. The company is under administration following the discovery of misappropriation of funds and gross corporate governance breaches. We end with sports. Zimbabwe international midfielder Marshall Munetsi produced his best performance since his big move to France, over providing an assist as Stade de Reims handed Giants Paris Saint-Germain their first home defeat in League One for 16 months with 2-0 win on Wednesday night. The 23-year-old rising star, who was making his first start for Stade de Reims, capped off a memorable evening by notching an assist after his delightful cross from the right was headed home by striker Hassan Kamara for the opener in the 29th minute. Reims held onto their precious lead for most of the game, with Munetsi impressing in the middle of the park, where he held his own against some of PSG's star players such as Brazil's Neymar, Ander Herrera and Angel Di Maria. Reporting for newzimbabwe.com, I am Makanaka Masenyama. For this and more stories, visit our website at www.newzimbabwe.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Newzim TV.